something has come out with a crazy idea. I'm 55 years old, unemployed, and launching something that can either break and disrupt the industry in a very big global way, or it's going to stay just right here in my living room with me and never see the light of the day. So it's just a little obstacle. I need to get out there, and I need to get out of in front of investors and ask for, let's say, $7 million or something like that. And I have no idea how I'm going to do this. By the way, I hate every single nanosecond thinking about how I need to go and ask for money. So
I think you, me and Angie need to have a wee chat here, because I'm in exactly the same place. I've got to go and speak to investors next week. And I tell you what, I don't want to lose my freedom to somebody who wants to make money out of me. It's like, stuff that, they can all bugger off. Sorry, excuse my language. Sorry, I'm sorry for swearing. But we're all fed up with it. We're fed up with a world where you're here to make money. I've made so much money for other people, like not being given any of it. And on top of that, being told that I'm not good enough, like so much for my life. And I'm not going to go and do that anymore. So, but you need the money to start. So where are those investors who want to invest like without putting criteria? That's the one. It's like, so I was thinking about this today, actually, because I do have meetings coming up this week and next week. And I'm just like, I just have to hold the line about what you want, right? So it's okay to say, you're lucky to be investing in me. I am only going to have an investor who's actually going to add value. So money isn't adding value. Money's just funding something. So you as an investor, one, have to add value. Two, don't detract from me. And three, I want this kind of money. And that kind of money for me, for example, is not share capital. So I don't want to share my ownership. What I'm happy to have is like long-term preference shares, like long-term debt, convertible debt. You know, that, and I'm not prepared to have you interfering with loads of like short-term goals, because then I'm going to spend my life steering around short-term goals. So I've kind of made up my mind that it's up to me to put boundaries about what I say yes to, and not put everything in the hands of the investor. And if that means that I don't get the money until I get the right deal, then frankly, I don't get the money. They're losing out, not me, ultimately, because I'm the one that's got the creativity that's going to make things happen. So I think if you can be really, really clear about owning your value, and also owning what you're happy to accept. I mean, you might be happy to accept giving some equity away and having somebody part sharing what you're doing, as long as they add value. And a lot of investors, you know, out there only want to make money from us, but there are good people out there. I believe there are. And I do believe that if you can get some starting capital and then go and try and get free money, grant funding, like institutional funding, for example, then to layer on top of that, if that's available in your country, then that's another way of doing it. So I think the really important thing for, you know, anyone who's an entrepreneur who's needing a kick in terms of injection financially, just remember that you're the creative, okay? Not the other person. The other person's only coming with IOU notes. Money's just an IOU note. Has anyone got any money in your purse, in your wallet? Pull it out and have a look on it, and you will see written on it, on the bill, on the pound note, on the whatever it is, it's a bit of paper money. It will say on it, I owe the bearer of this note the amount of money. Okay, it is actually, it even says on it is an IOU note. And IOU notes come about because two people exchange something of value. It's not the money. Money's invented by humans to facilitate the exchange. But you get all these people who've got this big corporate background, and trust me, I've been there. I've raised over 200 million or so myself to help fund business growth. I've saved pretty much that for other people's businesses. Great big strategic plans. You sit there and you like say, give me some money, give me some money. And they give you some money, and then they say, there's all these conditions. It's not my business. It was other people's businesses. That's fine. And you're kind of like, oh, thank God we got the money. You're so kind. But it's like, no, actually, you're lucky to invest in us because we're the ones with the capability. So just remember that if somebody is investing in you, they also have to give you value and not detract from you, because if they detract from you, it misses the whole point of what it is that you're all trying to achieve, which is create together, not be diminished. And I get, you know, really, really upset about this, particularly even when you look at government saying, oh, let's tax people who have more money than other people. I don't have a problem with that if you're then adding value at the bottom end to help people to grow themselves. You know, it's the whole The whole system is got to be understanding that money is something that we all create, and we create it when we feel good about ourselves, when we got our life force, our chi, and we feel that we have self-worth, and that we have the ability to create. And I don't mean art, and I don't mean like, you know, it's like you can be as creative with a spreadsheet and a legal document. Like somebody who loves words and loves being a lawyer can create a legal document, and that's creativity. That is creating something that's new in the world just as much as it is art or anything else like that. And what we do is we undervalue everybody. And so do not entertain receiving money unless you're absolutely desperate from an investor, unless they are going to give you something and it's to your conditions. And I promise you, you're probably better staying in hermit mode than getting into that scenario, because you'll end up being completely drained of your life force by people who don't understand what it is. Yeah. So that's my motivational speak. We'll keep each other going. Peter, go for it. I haven't even come back to your question yet. Bless you. Oh, you're on mute, are you?
Sorry, here we go. Yeah, I'm sorry to jump in. I feel really passionate about what Sabrina was saying. By the way, I'm a lawyer and a business owner and stuff like that. So what I would caution anybody, I have done many expansions in my career, and I have never let the spreadsheet lead the expansion. Be really cautious when you're dealing with investors to meet them at the data, because the data tends to lead to no. You really, especially when you're creative, you really want to get people on board with your vision and your passion. And I just know from experience, when that happens, the data is going to follow. One of the triggers actually for me on my little spiritual quest is I'm in several accountability groups where I deal with a lot of, you know, people, CEO level people in my business. And we would spend time, you know, going through goals and, you know, sort of justifying what happened revenue wise in the last quarter, last year, and all that kind of stuff. And what I found was I can make a spreadsheet say anything I want. like literally, it's almost like useless. I can tell almost any story, and that's what I would end up doing. Is I have an intuition, and I just make the data sort of fit the intuition anyway. So I think one of the tricks is to not get all that worried about it, not get all that worked up about it. But if you find yourself in bed with someone who is all about the 5% versus the 7% margin, or the 30%, you know, whatever folks are telling them that they need to do, that's probably not a successful partner for someone who's really trying to create something new and disruptive, like what you're talking about. So I just feel really strongly about that.
Thank you. I agree.
Yeah, it's your product and creativity led, but I think the thing that I would add and layer on that is negotiate like mad on people who then want to put in targets, like quarterly targets, or, you know, you must meet certain criteria. I liken it to, you're setting sail, right? You're okay, I'm in Scotland. Okay, between me and Scotland is Canada. Literally, my parents actually live on the most westerly island off the west coast of Scotland. And there is nothing between, except a lot of water and wind and waves and a lot of energy, between where my parents live on the west coast of Scotland and the north of Canada. Believe it or not, Scotland's very far north. So if you sail a bit further south, you'll get to the coast of America. Just imagine you'd never set sail, right? Imagine nobody'd ever set sail to America or to Canada from Scotland, and you got the funding for a boat, and the funders said, well, okay, I get your concept that you want to sail and that you think there's something out there, and we've got some evidence there might be, but every single, like, on your way, you have to sail via these markers that we're going to put in the sea, right? They're just going to be arbitrary. We don't know, but we think you need to get so far by 3 or 4 days. And then we think you need to get so far, but over that way, like completely in the opposite direction, to 3 or 4 days. And if you don't get around those markers, then we're basically going to like do something to sink your ship. Okay. So just imagine that, right? You have life-changing knowledge that you want to put out into the world, and you need investment for it. You're going to be talking to people who probably don't get what it is that you have to share. And they're probably going to put in some kind of goals that you will very likely struggle to meet. So when you go and talk to those investors, first of all, you want to make sure they totally get what it is that you're trying to do, and that they do not put in unrealistic goals for you as you go along. Those two things. And then also they need to add value. They can't just come along, and they can come along and be passive as investors. But what you do not want is somebody who's going to come along and not get you and challenge you, because it's going to drain your life force. So make sure all of those three things are in place for you, or don't hand over any of your gifts.
Join me on the 9th of June 2024 for a live satsang where I will be providing life coaching and spiritual guidance with an online questions and answers session. Without tarot, this is just an opportunity to come along and ask me any questions that you might have about your business, about relationships, about life, and about your spiritual and intuitive development. The link to find out more and to join is in the description box below this video.